Hello, everybody, and welcome to WCCF Tech Talks. And we're going to be talking video games again, unsurprisingly. And I'm joined today by Dave, who's that way for me. Say hello, Dave.
Hey.
That's not a hello. Now it is. And Alessio, who's
Hi,
below me.
guys.
We've got a few topics today. One of the biggest one, which we'll be starting with, is Facebook and what I am classing as the utter ruination of Oculus. We've got some comments from Alex Hutchinson of who's working on Stadia, and his comments on streamers, which have been completely fobbed off by Google. And then we're going to talk about Call of Duty, and then just what games we're playing. But we're going to start with Facebook and Oculus because, well, I'll start with this simply because Facebook bought Oculus for $2 billion, and I can't remember when they bought them, a number of years ago, and now they're just ruining the investment. That's the only way I can describe it. So they bought them for $2 billion, and now your Oculus has got to be linked to your Facebook account. You can't have two Oculus devices running on the same Facebook account now, otherwise your Facebook account goes bye-bye. You delete your Facebook account, you will lose all your purchased products on your linked Oculus account, and you also can't link a second Oculus device to just a throwaway Facebook account. So create a Facebook account for your hamster, and your hamster's playing your next Rift. So I think it's preposterous, but let's listen to what other people have to say first. So, what do you think, Dave and Alessio?
No, it is absolutely ridiculous. Let's face it. Like, as of right now, Oculus has a working system. It might not be the best system in tech, but it's a working system. And it's kind of inarguable that Facebook are going into that working system and making it work a bit less. You know? Like, that is ultimately what this breaks down to, and that's a shame because, when Facebook bought Oculus initially, I was like, okay, like this isn't the exactly the company I want to be investing in when playing games or whatever. However, they might have the investment fortitude, that financial cash money to make Oculus a really big company, push VR forward. But that hasn't really happened, and all that's happening now is that we are seeing it become a more closed ecosystem and even complicates things for existing customers, and that's not going to make anyone happy.
Yeah, go on, Alessio.
Yeah, just wanted to add that you're even actually required to have a Facebook account in good standing. Not sure what that means exactly, but if you don't, you will not be able to use the Oculus Quest 2 at all. So it's some, and it seems to be like Oculus, Facebook really is trying to push the the Facebook side in that they really want every Oculus user to also be a Facebook user, basically. And perhaps they should be doing the reverse more. I mean, they should entice Facebook users to get to Oculus instead of vice versa.
I would honestly have imagined that everybody who had an Oculus would have had a Facebook account, to be fair. It's that ubiquitous.
Yeah.
I suppose the strange thing, though, when you mentioned that, with the linking of the Facebook account, the fact if you delete your account, you can't use your games, you can't use your device, and an account in good standing. I may be far off base, I don't know, but surely this is some sort of circumvention of EU laws, maybe even breaking certain laws. The fact that they're literally saying, right, you've just spent hundreds of pounds, hundreds of dollars, whatever, on a device, and now you cannot use it because, your account isn't in good standing. that would be. I mean, even the games you buy on Steam, if your account gets banned, you've still got access to the games you've purchased. So surely there's an issue here.
Yeah, like I was actually going to agree with that. Like, I'm not sure what laws could be involved here. I'm definitely not a lawyer. However, like we've seen every other service that has purchasable items, you might have your account banned, but you rarely lose access to things you purchased. Like that's only really happened with like actual services like MMOs.
Yeah.
Like if you can't play an MMO, of course you're going to lose all your stuff. It's basically one and the same. But yeah, it's really really unusual to see this happening with basically what's an entire storefront. So like, if I go on a Facebook rant and enough people like report me, does that mean I lose all my Rift games? I don't really.
I'm watching you, Dave. Don't
But
you
everyone
worry, I'll
is.
be
That's the
blackmailing
problem.
you.
They're always trying.
Yeah, it's really strange, like you said, and also doesn't make much sense when you consider that they're also trying to expand the VR base with the Oculus Quest 2, which is in itself a very good headset actually, because it's much better than the first one in terms of technical specs, and it's also very accessible in terms of price. So it's seems like they're kind of undoing all the good work they've been doing on the actual VR side with the advancements, hardware advancements, software advancements. But on the other end, they've got this overlord, Facebook side of the company that just weighs them down a bit.
I think it's quite an iffy aspect because when Facebook bought Oculus, they did give guarantees that there would be no linking of accounts. Again, that was 6 years ago and $2.3 billion. So we all know things change. I mean, it hasn't taken Microsoft long from saying, oh, yeah, games will be on a case by case basis to we're keeping all of the games. And hell, they haven't even finished the purchase yet. So I suppose we should commend Facebook for waiting 6 years. I just think it's damaging to the brand, and whereas people have bought the Quest, they've bought the Quest 2. As you've mentioned yourself before, Alessio, it's sold well. But do you not think that people now will be thinking of trading it in and going for something like the HTC Vive, which also has some cheap alternatives? It's got cheaper models and that are quite accessible. And with the Vive, you also there's a subscription method with the Vive port, which gives you access to quite a large number of games. So I don't know.
The main thing about the Oculus Quest is that it's portable, right? It's wireless, so
yeah, true.
it works by itself. You don't really need a PC. So, I mean, unless and that's certainly the future. I mean, if PlayStation does a second VR headset, I'm guessing they will do the same. I mean, they'll try to make it standalone, but of course, again, like the Oculus Quest, you'll probably be able to connect it to the PlayStation 5 to get extra power. But I think just the incredible usability of the Quest it's just great, because you don't need the cables, which are really a major deterrent to the VR experience, because it basically limits where you can play, whereas you want to be as free as you can when you are in VR, especially in room scale games. So
bring back Google Glass.
Yeah. So
what's with that look, Dave?
Stop talking about Google Glass. He's always on about Google Glass.
It was revolutionary.
Please ignore him.
Google, send me a copy. even though
He
it's
keeps
like
going on about how Black Mirror is so good. No, stop this, Chris.
But actually, last week, I think there was a rumor that a new 83 Vive model might be in production. So that may be an interesting one to follow. Maybe it will be standalone, like
So
the
I had a
Quest.
discussion with somebody quite high up with HTC recently. I'll be writing an interview out on that. It's regarding the new XR suite that's come out, which is very much for business and enterprise. But the HTC are looking again, weirdly enough, at a Google Glass. I know you don't want to hear it, Dave, but something along those lines, which sounds similar. They've got some plans in the work, and it was very interesting to hear how forward-thinking HTC are. More so than any other VR company at the moment, I would say. But sometimes
I think it's probably
forward-thinking is not
because
always.
they've got 2 feet firmly in like the mobile space with Android and everything, so they have experience with making their own like little Android OS adjustments and stuff. And
Yeah,
of course now they have the VR experience. You combine those two together, and I feel like you are going to have a company that's working much harder. Whereas Google kind of feels half-hearted a lot of the time.
Yeah.
Like getting started to Google Cardboard is like fun but not incredible, and then Google Daydream is again, cool, but like not going to set the world on fire when there's so many other headsets which can do similar things.
Are we
So
going to
yeah,
see Facebook and maybe even Valve go further in? I mean, are Valve doing anything extra with Index at the moment?
they don't seem to be doing anything. But if you look at the dollar sales on Steam week to week, the Index kit is always one of the top sellers. And again, that's in terms of dollar
Yeah.
sales.
The fact that it costs
So
like a house is
yes,
already
it costs like $1,000 and a bit, something like that. So yeah, that's one of the reasons it's always fairly high up. But that does mean you gotta remember how many games are sold on Steam each day. Like that means it's still
going
selling a
down.
fair few units each week. So it's interesting. Like I don't feel like there's any reason for them to pull out at this point. But I feel like that's certainly a fact.
Okay. So, anything else on the Facebook Oculus and VR from either of you?
No, I think it's pretty much clear cut.
Yeah,
It's bad.
It's really
it's
a
a bad
bad
idea.
policy. Yeah.
Yeah.
So hopefully it will be, I don't know, reverted in some way. Maybe they'll listen to feedback.
I don't
Although,
know. Here's the thing: gaming companies hate bad PR, but fucking Facebook lives off bad PR. It's the only PR it gets, so it's like
yeah,
whatever.
seems
Yeah,
like they don't care really
Yeah, I
about
It's
think
par for the course.
they're just permanently mired in a puddle of shit.
As long as they get the money in for their investors, then they don't care.
So
Yeah.
But yeah,
yeah, the next topic, I think this is something Alessio is very passionate about. So what? Well, how about introducing us to a bit about streamers, Alessio?
Hmm. Well, it's a pretty interesting statement from Alex Hutchinson, which you might know from quite a few big games. He was the game director of Assassin's Creed 3, also Far Cry 4, and more recently Journey to the Savage Planet, which was also a fine little game. And then his company was bought by Google, so they're now making games for Google Stadia. And then, of course, he went out with this tweet saying that streamers should be paying developers and publishers for the games they stream. And of course, this prompted a huge reaction across the web, and even from Google, actually. Google basically said they don't agree at all with this stance. So it was an interesting one, I think, because it raised a subject that might be worth discussing. I mean, do streamers need to pay some kind of license for getting all the revenue they get from games streaming. I don't know. I mean, I certainly understand that it's probably not going to happen because it will make a lot of streamers,
Make it impossible.
basically. Yeah, but at the same time, I do kind of feel for the frustration of developers, which they may be saying that they've done all the hard work on a game for however many years they've been working on it, and then there are a bunch of streamers who make literally hundreds of thousands of dollars just streaming their games, maybe just I don't know, cracking a couple of jokes and playing. So yeah, I think it's an interesting debate. So looking forward
Okay.
to
I
hear
have
from you.
big opinions. I have big
do as well.
opinions.
I do as
Yeah.
well.
So first off, I feel like we should put into the comments into context. As we said, Alex Hutchison is not a creative director at Google Stadia. He's a creative director at a company which was purchased by Google and was absorbed into Stadia.
Yeah.
So he's even had to change his bio since Google made their statement because I'm sure someone told him off and they're like, this is not what we want Stadia trending for, my boy.
No.
So we have to put that into context. And also, I feel I saw it. It was a gamesindustry.biz interview that he had. I feel like it was back in 2012. I saw like the Clippers the other day, and he was saying that like all Japanese games have a story which is gibberish, and it's racism that people say Gears of War and stuff isn't as good. So that's a thing. You gotta keep in mind that these are the comments that this man just it's like it's racism that the gamers like Japanese games better is his entire reasoning. So you have to keep in mind that this is the man. Just I don't know. So that was an official gamesindustry.biz interview anyway. So we gotta keep in mind that's the geezer. It was that show was 8 years ago, could have matured a lot by since then, but this is the same man. Now that we have it in context. Just imagine one publisher says from now on to stream our games, you need to pay a license fee. Now, in concept, I actually don't think a license fee is the craziest thing in the world. But if we imagine one publisher says it, every streamer that plays those games regular is just going to go to another game.
Yeah.
And the publishers of whatever game they flip to, they'll be like, you are welcome to stay and stream our game as much as you want because the bottom line is, especially in the indie circle, but the bottom line is, if your game gets a hell of a lot of streams, you're going to have more purchases because more eyes are on it. It is modern day video game marketing. You're not going to get that from like TV ads or something. Like
it is free marketing.
It really is. It really is. Game streamers can make or break smaller games, especially like Among Us recently, a game that basically had 0 players per day, and now it's one of the biggest things ever. And you have US politicians breaking Twitch records, playing it with like influencers. So that's the world we live in. And Alex Hutchison. But yeah, like to play devil's advocate for a quick moment, in theory, a license fee makes sense. Like a TV station isn't going to like broadcast a TV show, not pay a license fee, and then say, "Hey, it's free marketing. Someone might buy the DVDs." Like, but also from that analogy, we got to understand that video games are an interactive medium. They are not like music or TV. There's nothing quite like having hands-on with a video game. You can maybe argue that a little bit with more story narrative-heavy games, but ultimately, it can only be good for a game that it is being streamed, and it's a shame that apparently no game Alex Hutchison's ever worked on has been streamed. That's the only conclusion I've come to.
Yeah, apart from all of them.
Yeah,
because they have.
No, clearly not.
So I find it strange because again, I made the argument in our private discussion in our team chat. It is free marketing, and to me, again, Among Us is a prime example. A game that's shot from literal obscurity for over a year, and now it's the biggest thing since sliced bread. And streamers, my argument when it comes to streamers and YouTubers, I don't think necessarily that a license would work. Again, as you say, depends on the cost of the license more than anything. Is it going to be subjective based on the amount of revenue you make? So is it 1% of revenue for each of the videos made, videos or streams made using that game? Would
Yeah,
that be feasible?
I would feel like it would need to be a license only applied to like really big streamers. I feel like applying a license fee to small time streamers would be completely destructive to
Yeah.
whatever this industry has become.
Well, that's
You
why I'm
know?
thinking a percentage, so that way it affects small time streamers, such a 1% of $10. If they make that, then they.
I feel like if this is going to be like taxes, then I feel like there
Yeah.
definitely needs to be like a tax exclusion zone where if they don't earn enough money, they won't get taxed anything. You know?
Yeah.
Actually, I'm thinking that maybe Google, as YouTube or even Amazon through Twitch, they can just give a portion of what will be the streamers' revenue to the developers.
I mean, considering that Twitch already takes like 50% on subscriptions and stuff, then I feel like they could take the hit and drop
I
10%.
didn't realize they took that much.
Yeah, if you subscribe to Twitch streamers, they take 50%. I think if you do donations, they don't have to deal with that. But subscriptions, where apparently a lot of money is made, it's a 50% cut.
Absurd. I mean, the only Twitch subscription I've ever done is simply because I've got Amazon Prime, so you get a free.
Yeah, do the Twitch Prime.
So I just I know I've got a friend who's a streamer, so I just keep dropping it on his account every month. It's like it's probably worth like half a penny, but that's by the by. I didn't realize they took that much. So yeah, if anything, it should be Twitch giving a share of the bloody revenue.
Yeah, like I wouldn't see anything wrong with that personally. If the burden is not on the streamer, but it's on the platform streaming it, that makes more sense. However, then I don't want the case to pop up where the publisher hasn't done a deal with Twitch/YouTube for this game, or this game has only got a deal with Twitch. You can't stream it on YouTube. The rabbit hole could keep going with this kind of crap, and as a result, we should call it quits immediately. Just don't. No license fee, thank you.
I think my argument when it comes to streamers and YouTube videos is that by nature, if it's just somebody playing the game, not adding anything, in reality, people go to certain streamers, certain YouTubers for the YouTuber or streamer. You will find obviously certain games have got that where people look for a game, they'll just jump in and look for the game. But I would argue that the vast majority, 99%, go to a particular streamer or YouTuber. And it's because of the transformative part of that work. If it's somebody, again, if you're playing such as a very linear title, for example, Man of Medan, which is 5 hours, 5-6 hours long. It's literally just that, and all they're doing is playing that. Maybe not even saying any words over the top of it, or just every now and then just being like, "Oh, thank you for donating." Nothing additional. I don't agree with that, and I do think that is damaging to the game. People are going in there; they're seeing literally the story of the game, and then there's no reason for them to buy it. But games like Among Us, games like Assassin's Creed, games like Call of Duty, nearly any single game where you've got the open worlds, you've got multiplayer, they don't suffer at all. They just benefit. So I can't understand Alex Hutchinson just whining about it. His games have no doubt benefited from that. He has no doubt benefited from large streamers playing his game and somebody thinking, you know what, this doesn't actually look like crap. I might buy it.
Yeah, and you know what? Just to follow up on that point, you're completely right about like how streamers and stuff have just like made multiplayer games especially transformative, because I think the battle royale genre was born from streaming. You know, like sure, they was thrown into a game, but that genre wouldn't exist without streaming. If people weren't streaming PUBG and all that when it started, and then if like people like Ninja didn't pick up Fortnite and Apex Legends, blah blah blah, and you see the games that have fallen off the streams fairly fast, like Hyperscape, then you've got Ubisoft saying we're sorry, it's underperformed.
Yeah.
You know, like streaming has decided the fates of a lot of these newer games. And that's going to continue being the way. Like, if it's not exciting to keep playing over and over and over again, then it's going to flounder.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think I've got anything more to add to that other than, I mean, I'll be the first to say that streaming and YouTubers in general aren't my jam. Maybe it's because I'm a boring, crotchety old man. I don't know. And maybe it's because I've got no talent at that, or just that I like to think I don't know. But
it's fine.
There's no doubt that they have such a massive impact and they hold so much influence now. It's the natural progression of things in reality. You know, TV media, like a lot of it, what little shows there were. We used to have Gamesville here in the UK. Everything went online. Online print media has gone online, and now online websites have all pivoted to video. And YouTubers have just naturally, YouTubers and streamers have just backed on the back of that, and they're just massive. I mean, hell, you've got people on Instagram getting sent everything, and all they do is post a picture, and I don't get that.
Yeah, you do. You post an article.
I don't get the Instagram.
It's the same thing. It's the same thing. But yeah,
there's about 5 words with
we do go
Instagram,
on.
But yeah, I know.
Yeah, I know. But at the end of the day, for that, it's just the amount of eyes on it. And I'm sure if your Instagram had the same amount of eyes, you'd get away with the same amount of words.
To be fair, I'm surprised it doesn't. I mean, look at this.
Yes, I know. I know. We all know.
So the last topic. Who wants to talk about Call of Duty? Who wants to introduce
Alessio. Alessio.
Okay. Yeah, it's another year and another Call of Duty PlayStation exclusivity. So it's they just confirmed that a zombie mod, the zombie onslaught mod specifically, will be exclusive for a year for PlayStation platforms. So basically, you cannot play it on PC or Xbox until November 2021, which I think is it's the same happened last year. I think it was another like survival mode, I think, and now it's the same is true. But even though it's not the main zombies mod, I think it's still really crappy of Activision and especially Sony, because they're like keeping content from the other platforms for an entire year for a game which is released every year. So next November it will be there will be another Call of Duty. So
see, I disagree with it. I completely disagree with the move, but I understand it even more so because, again, it doesn't affect me. I haven't played Call of Duty games in absolute years. I did the beta stream, and then I haven't. That's the first time in over 5 years I've played Call of Duty. So it doesn't affect me, but I can understand why a lot of people would be pissed off. But at the same time, these are the same people who, they'll be PlayStation fans will be so happy about this. It's like, oh, the PlayStation's got this, but they'll be decrying the fact that Microsoft's now going to be keeping all the Bethesda and etc. titles exclusive. So it's just companies tossing about money, and it's just crap. It really is just crap.
And it really feels like in this situation, it really feels like there's no winners. Like I've said it before, like if a publisher pays for a fully exclusive game, a platform holder, if like Sony pays entirely for a game, then hey, this game might not have existed without Sony. Or maybe, hey, more money can go into it. They can invest more, and it can be bigger and better. Blah blah blah. But when it's just a single mode,
Yeah.
it just feels like the PlayStation platform actually gets the full game, and then every other platform doesn't.
Yeah, and
You
I
know?
completely agree with you there. I think a distinction's got to be made where you look at titles where, like you say, when it comes to indie games or any smaller budget games, it's indie games or mid tier games which end up being exclusives, like you say, it genuinely does feel like that game may not have been made or may not be to the same level. Ooblets on the Epic Game Store, everybody was outraged over that because it's like a farming sim with Pokemon, and everybody's, oh, it's Epic Games now. The developers themselves said it would not be the same game without that money from Epic. So
Sure.
I think,
And of course, we look at like all the studios Microsoft has bought out, and all the games Sony has made over the last generation. So many of those games obviously just wouldn't exist without PlayStation being a platform holder.
yeah,
Anyway,
the
I mean,
PlayStation
hey,
ones,
hell, even Demon Souls itself, the original Demon Souls, we know that if some crazy person at Sony wasn't willing to throw money around, that whole Dark Souls genre wouldn't exist.
Yeah, but I might even argue that it's not a good way for Sony to spend this kind of money, because it can't be cheap being Call of Duty and Activision.
no, I
But
do agree there.
they've also they've secured only a minor mod, so it's not like any I mean, I struggle to think any significant amount of players will be picking PlayStation 4 or PlayStation 5 for the Call of Duty just because of this.
Yeah, no, but like I feel like this news comes at just the right time, because this is just enough time for people to reconsider their next gen console purchase. And I feel like it's just that tiny thing, because like if you're a general consumer and you've hopped between Xbox and PlayStation in the past, you might be torn on whether to get PS5 or Series X. I mean, I think I would be. I think I have been. And then you just see this, if Call of Duty is one of those big games that you play every year, and you see there's the one thing, hey, just this Call of Duty is ever so slightly better.
It's that tipping point.
But yeah, regardless of that, though, I gotta say, I do feel like this is borderline offensive. And it would have been better, I feel, if it was timed exclusive DLC, because then that's something that people don't care so much about. But it does feel like instead of being a nice extra, it feels like every other version is incomplete, and that's
I mean, 1 month, maybe 2 months of exclusivity would make sense, perhaps 3. But a full year.
It's how much money you're spending to get the value for what. I mean, we don't know how much Sony's spent on it, but I mean, this deal's probably been in the works for a while now, and I think Sony's just pulled the trigger. I think Sony's going to pull the trigger on every single deal they can as a reaction to ZeniMax.
Yeah. Do you want to know what my theory is surrounding this mode?
Go on.
If we were to cast our eyes way back to the days of the Xbox 360 and the first introduction of the Call of Duty Battle Pass, you might remember they were basically the first company to do like a full season pass for all their DLC packs. Originally, Microsoft got all the DLC a month first. Like, it would just launch on Microsoft consoles, come to Sony consoles a month later.
Yeah.
And that was just the way it happened. Eventually, when the PS4 started getting big, that shifted. And now Sony was getting all the DLC packs a month before Microsoft consoles. But now, I don't think they can do that because they're pushing for crossplay.
Right.
I don't think they want to divide the audience, because Warzone is already doing crossplay. I think, at least, if not at launch and down the line, I think they're going to want to do it with Cold War. I'm not sure where that stands right now. But I don't think they can afford to like section off part of their audience with those that have DLC and those that haven't for too much longer. So I feel like
a full game mode now that's going to be
instead a full mini game mode, a smaller side mode, whatever. Regardless, yes, they wanted some sort of content exclusivity, but the DLC was no longer an option because they would rather everyone bought it.
Yeah, although, I mean, if anyone has any sense, they're like, let's look at what each platform brings in terms of exclusivity.
But
Yeah.
I mean,
people don't tend to have that sort of sense. Not general consumers, I don't think.
but I mean, would you rather play The Elder Scrolls 6 and the new Fallout, Doom, and whatever games, or a
No,
minor Call of Duty mod?
I know I do
So,
completely
I
agree with you there, but it's more the
yeah.
things like Elder Scrolls 6. We're not going to see that for another 3 years, 4 years,
Yes.
4 years.
This is what I was going to say because at the beginning of the last generation, I basically was telling everyone, "Hey, I feel like PlayStation's going to do it this time. They're on the right track. Microsoft aren't." And this is back when Kinect was necessary and all that crap, you know. And that's what I was telling people, and everyone was like, "No, I've had a 360 for years. I'm getting the Xbox." And then pretty much everyone I know that got an Xbox near launch ended up getting a PS4 halfway through the gen.
Mm-hmm.
And I really do feel like it's the reverse is going to happen now, where everyone's going to get on the PS5 and they're going to be like, "No, this I've had the PS4 for ages. I'm going to stick with it." And then I think Fallout and Elder Scrolls are going to come out, and suddenly I think the tide will shift again.
I think that's I've said it before. It's just a constant cycle. The company on top gets confident, overconfident. Sony won with the PS2. I mean, they had two generations on top with PlayStation and PlayStation 2. But then they got overconfident. The PlayStation 3 was notoriously shitty to develop for. And the Xbox 360 was, it was the one. Then
it's really surprising. Go on.
Yeah, and then Microsoft, it's like, "Oh, we did fantastic with the Xbox 360. Xbox One gets announced. By the way, it's got to have a Kinect. By the way, always online. By the way, this. Oh, by the way, we've just royally fucked up our E3 conference. Sony just comes to the stage. What they've just said, we're not doing that."
Yeah, that was an amazing moment, and it's really fascinating to see how the tides have shifted. Because obviously, like we said, 360 started ahead, and the PS3 like clawed its way back with stuff like PlayStation Plus near the end of the gen. Then that gen started PS4 ahead, and then Xbox crawled its way back with stuff like Game Pass. It's really interesting how, like, basically a subscription service has sort of clawed things back for both companies, whereas PlayStation has basically had their same PlayStation Plus subscription service since the beginning of the PS4 life, even restricted it slightly by taking away Vita and PS3 titles. Then you've got Microsoft, who have been opening up games of gold, and then you've got Game Pass. They've been opening up more and more and more and enticing more people in, whereas Sony has been stagnant, and now Sony's only answer to that is you can either pay for PlayStation Now, or here's a bunch of old PS4 games that you can play on PS5 if you buy one.
Yeah,
and it's a little bit pathetic.
It's going to be interesting to see what happens. I get the feeling that Microsoft are going to end up having to raise the price of what's it called now? It's not Game Pass.
Yes, Xbox Game Pass Ultimate.
Is it still called Game Pass? I don't know.
Yeah, it's Game Pass.
I have it and I don't know what it's called.
It's Game Pass.
Yeah, okay. I think I get the feeling that they'll probably end up losing money on that to start with. And I think they will have to. Games, as we know, they're not cheap to develop. And, well, the simple fact is they've just spent 7 billion, or they're going to be spending 7 billion on a big company. They've got to make that money back somehow, and yeah, they'll get PC sales, they will have subscription, but I just can't see how a game that costs 50 plus million to develop, and they're going to be developing quite a few of those, every year.
Yeah.
Money's going to come back, especially if they're losing money on consoles.
So I actually have faith in Microsoft that they're going to make pretty big money on this, because like Game Pass is pretty expensive, man. If you want to buy a year of Game Pass, like straight up, it's not super cheap, and if you just entice a hell of a lot of people into that, that's a lot of money. And plus, on top of that, we don't know exactly what method of payment Microsoft have got in place for people publishing on Game Pass, like the indies and stuff. Because this has been different for stuff like PlayStation Plus in the past as well. Whereas like PlayStation Plus, it didn't depend on you didn't get like a flat fee. It depended on how many people actually added your game to their account, and in some cases, it depended on how many people actually downloaded it. Sony don't like that information being public.
Well,
So
I assumed that was the case with Xbox. To be fair,
yeah, but that's the thing, because we don't know if, hey, you're on Game Pass, you're getting a flat fee, or we don't know if it's like, hey, you're on Game Pass, here's what you get if someone actually downloads your game.
Yeah.
We don't know if maybe it's like someone needs to play the game for at least an hour and then you get paid or something like that.
Okay.
We have to think about, because then
Yeah.
Microsoft are definitely going to be doing different deals with different companies,
Yeah,
and then of
certainly.
course some games, bigger games like Red Dead Redemption 2, it went up for like a few months and then it came down. So Microsoft aren't exactly, it's not like they're paying for everyone's Rockstar games for life or anything like that.
It's a few months and then people will probably it's to entice them to buy the full game after the fact
and
they're saved.
I really do feel like this is one of those services where it doesn't necessarily pay off immediately, but I think long term, like if someone's bought an Xbox console and then pays for Game Pass Ultimate for 3 years, I get the feeling Microsoft have made a decent investment off of that.
Okay.
But again, it's hard to say because they're all so cagey with the information on how much they're getting paid, where it's coming from. It's really weird.
I think that's just the thing for me: the cost of development, then the cost of buying ZeniMax and everything. It's a lot of investment to recoup, but they're looking decades down the line, I imagine.
Like we were saying, Phil or Spencer already opened up to doing streaming stake for Game Pass subscribers. So yeah, they want to be everywhere in terms of accessibility. They want to have streaming on TVs, on of course smartphones, tablets. I mean, we've even seen some crazy folks streaming stuff from xCloud to a fridge. So it's it's that kind of
I need a fridge.
they want to be everywhere in terms of
that may be it for Microsoft. If they can get people who aren't going to be buying a console into the Xbox ecosystem, playing on their phones, playing on their tellies, then that could be the way forward. They're essentially trying to do what Stadia wants. They're just doing Stadia but better.
I mean, to be fair, I think everything Xbox is doing right now acts as cross promotion. Like everything from Game Pass on Android to just having a console to seeing Microsoft games on Steam. If I'm a Steam player, I see Halo Master Chief Collection and Gears 5 Crackdown. I don't even know what's actually on there for the record. But if I'm a Steam player and I see all that, Microsoft Flight Simulator, there you go. If I'm on Steam and I see all that and I want to play all those games, I will think to myself, hey, that means Game Pass is actually a pretty good idea for me, you know? And if I'm already buying into Game Pass at that point, well, I'm like, hey, well, it wouldn't be so bad if I just happened to have an Xbox console under my TV downstairs to play these games with the family or something, and so on and so forth. And again, I think if you're a hardcore mobile gamer, you might go through that same route. And I think just because I invested in Game Pass earlier this year, even though I don't have an Xbox, because there was just a few games I wanted to play on PC.
Yeah.
And do you know what I mean? Like even that made me think, hey, it wouldn't be so bad if I had an Xbox and I could play these games there.
Yeah.
I can
understand that.
I feel like it feels like a natural progression, because I do feel like Game Pass is, for the most part, a really good deal.
I do think it's an interesting move with you mentioning Steam as well, because EA have put their subscription on Steam. You can buy it through Steam, but Microsoft...
Yes, and that's also going to Game Pass. EA Play is coming to Game Pass, sorry.
Yeah. Oh, no, and I just find it, with that, like, EA are going to be losing, it'll not be 30%, because Valve, obviously,
they're going to do a deal
from these small companies.
They're going to do a deal.
The EA Play is going to be I think is 15% the lowest, or 20%. So, yeah,
I'm sure they've haggled.
Yeah, they probably even got lower than the 20% that Valve.
There's nothing for Valve to really lose out on by putting it on the service. So I could imagine them doing a special deal for EA.
And
but
I can imagine now with Microsoft releasing the games on Steam, but not the Pass. I think that could be a good ploy. These are the games we've
bring
got.
them over to Microsoft
if you just
Store.
pay this.
Actually, Yeah, I've read about that. Now there is, I think, a Chrome extension that has been posted on Reddit and Resetera forums, etc. It's basically it lets you know if a game on Steam is, let's say, you're browsing the Steam store on your Chrome browser,
If it's
and
on Game Pass.
this extension will tell you if that game you are browsing is on Game Pass. So it's
Yeah. Oh, I've had a similar sort of thing, which lets me see if it's on just cheap at any other store. I haven't bought a game from Steam in years.
I just got a notification on my phone that someone on the YouTube channel said Keith was the Ray Romano of tech news. Like everybody loves
Everybody
Raymond.
loves Ray. Oh
Yeah.
God.
I'm like, oh my god, he is. Sorry, Keith. It's the one time he's not here.
we love you,
Oh, dear.
Kate.
Yeah, everyone loves Keith.
he'll enjoy it when he's watching this. Then.
Oh my god, Chris, could we put a Ray Romano picture like in the corner or something?
We'll have to try that. We'll see what we can do.
Yeah.
It might have to be a
Okay.
case of next time Keith's with us, just having a picture of Ray Romano on instead of Keith's face. So I think
Okay.
that's all the major topics. Just
Yeah.
What's everybody playing right now? I mean, I think I'm allowed to say that I'm. No, I don't even know if I'm allowed to say. Oh, I'll just say
don't.
it anyway.
Just don't.
Well, by the time I play the next.
It will come out tomorrow, probably.
Yeah, I'm
You
playing the
have the
next Dark
time.
Pictures game. Nobody will know. I can't say anything more about it. I'm just playing it. I previewed
Okay.
it, so.
Well, I guess I'll say that like this week is finally the week that my Pikmin 3 Deluxe review will come out. I know the preview embargo was a long time ago now, and I have long since finished the game, and I've been itching to talk about it. Chris, did you play the demo?
I didn't. I completely forgot. I've got it downloaded.
Oh, okay, you can get to it. You can tell me how right my review is once you played it.
I will.
Yeah. But let me think. What else have I been playing? I don't know. I think we've been talking about Game Pass, and I've been playing a whole bunch of different Game Pass games in no particular order. That's it. Oh yeah, Pokemon Sword and Shield expansion 2 DLC, the Crown Tundra. I've been playing that today, and that is I think better than the first DLC.
Yeah, I was also playing
Not
the
by
Doom
much.
Eternal DLC, which it's Doom Eternal, but yeah.
Alessio?
Well, I've been playing the usual stuff, so nothing new. As I told Chris, I'm preparing myself for Night City. So in the future, the soon to be future, I will be playing that. Whenever CD Projekt Red.
You're gonna go 57 years into the future.
Yeah.
I have CD Projekt Red send him a code. Hint, hint, CD Projekt Red. Alessio would like a code to review it.
Me too, thanks.
Chris too.
Yeah, it's just everyone here. It's true.
In fact, just send over the source code. We'll figure it all out.
I'm making my Switch port.
They ported the Witcher 3, so never say never.
I'm gonna get it running at 10 FPS, and I'm gonna like
chugging away with the steam coming out of the back of the Switch.
Yeah.
All right.
God. But yeah, so I think that's everything. Unless anybody's got anything they want to add.
I don't think so.
No.
Gaming is cool.
You sound very enthusiastic with that thing, Dave. Yeah. So thanks for joining us, everybody, and we'll no doubt see you next week.